Today is distillation day. We are going to distill out our corn moonshine base. Okay, so this will be interesting. We're going to go through the process from the beginning of it, of distillation to our final product. Okay, but first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing we want to do, make sure, but I'm pretty confident it is done fermented out. And it is right there between, whoop, can you see it? There you go. It's right there between the green and the blue line is 1.000. That is completely dry. So all the sugar has been consumed by the yeast. It's completely fermented out. So the next thing we want to do is let's get this in our still pot. Okay. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to siphon the fermented mash over into the still pot, because I just want to keep it. The cleaner the mash we can put in the still pot, the better off we are. So I just use an auto siphon. Very simple to use. You all probably got them, probably multiple of them. And then you give it a couple quick pumps and let it do its thing. Okay, so we're going to siphon this all over. We'll get ready to get set up for the next process, next step. Okay. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to calculate how much alcohol is in that 6 gallons of fermented mash. Okay, let me show you how I calculated that out. Okay, so the way you calculate that out is, there's the formula. Starting gravity minus final gravity times 131.25, and that will equal out the percent of ABV that's in that mash. Okay, so remember, if you look in the last video, we had 1.080 minus the 1.000, which we just checked. That's the final gravity, so it equals out, of course, 0.080. And if we take that times the factor, it equals out to 10.5% of that 6 gallons. So if you do the math, 10.5% of 6 gallons roughly comes out to 2.5 quarts. Okay, so that will give us a rough estimate of how much alcohol we're going to get out of that mash. Now I said 2.5 quarts, but that is 100% pure alcohol if we could do that. Well, let's say, we're distilling off at 100 proof, just for numbers. It's 50% water and 50% alcohol, so you have to make some adjustments for that. I guess you could do the math on that, but it ain't that important to me. Okay, so that just gives us a rough estimate of the alcohol that we should be able to extract from that 6 gallons of mash. Alrighty, okay. Got my still pot is getting filled up right now. We'll get ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so one thing I want to do, I got my still pot sitting here and all is transferred over. But that liquid always contains a lot of gases which in the liquid. We want to try to get rid of it. It just works better that way. So I guys got me, thing I put in my cordless drill. And it's so easy. Let me show you. We do a stir. You could use a spoon. This is just real easy this way. We're just trying to knock them gas bubbles loose. You can see them all coming out. Stir a little bit. Let all of them pop. That's all it takes. Okay, so now that we're degassed, the next step is I'm going to start putting some heat under the pots, get that process going. So what I usually do is I use some propane under the bottom with the diffuser plate so I don't get no scorching. And I also plugged in the heating element, and I like to keep it all low. You know, I don't want to come up too awful fast. I want to get all that mash starting to work in that pot, starting to move. So I just don't want no scorching at all. Okay, so let me get some fire under the pot. I already have electric on the heating element, and I think I'm only putting in like 5 amps. So it's not a lot, not yet. So, all right, so let me get that finished up, and then we're going to get ready to get the column going. Okay, I got everything set up and ready to go. Everything's heating up. I got I put my sight glass here on the bottom. You can start seeing a little bit of fog in there. I got 4 plates. I got a pre-condenser. Okay, so it's just a matter of time, and then let's keep an eye on it. Let her heat. So my pot temperature is right around 175, and you can see the condensation on the glasses is starting to come up. I'm getting 1 or 2 little drips out, and if I smell it, it's very high. It's very pungent. Okay, I have the pre-condenser off at this moment because I'm gonna leave it off until I get my about 4 or 5 ounces over that I'm gonna get rid of. I'm gonna call them my 4 shots, and then I'll turn on the cooling. Then I'm gonna reflux for a little while. I don't want, if I can come, you know, I just want a little bit higher proof than normal. If what is done and said for, if I can get somewhere between, you know, once I combine everything and proof it down, I'd like to end up with some about 100 proof for mixing. I think that's going to be good. Okay, so let me let this happen. Okay, that smell is gone. Oh, it tastes good. So what I'm going to start doing now, I think I got my 4 shots in. I've collected about 4.5, 5 ounces off first. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start turning the cooling water onto my pre-condenser just a little bit, and then I'm going to let it reflux for probably about 15 minutes. And as soon as I turn that cooling water on for the reflux, you should see the output will just stop. Water's going up. It'll start condensing more, or refluxing more, I should say. Yep, and that's exactly what happened. The output stopped. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll let that reflux for a little while, and then I don't know if you can see. Let me bring you over so you can see. There's the top plate, and down. Okay, everything's working pretty good. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm backing off on my cooling water to the pre-condenser, and then I should get to the drip, drip, drip spurt on the output. It will take, you know, everything takes a few minutes to balance out. Everything seems to be working okay. So let me just back off a little bit at a time on the cooling water, only to the pre-condenser. I tell you, if you go back a few videos, the modifications I did to this plate column really did a nice job. Okay, because what's happening is as the stuff's coming up, once the precondenser is too cold, it will not let anything come on up to go to the point of no return. So what I got to do is ease off on that cooling water so this starts warming up. Just start to let a little bit go by, and keep the reflux going too. Back off just a little bit more, but just take your time. Okay, so we'll be here for a little while. Okay, so where are we at? Well, I got 1, 2, 3.5 real good quarts. I'm still letting it still run for a little while. I'm gonna save that as my tails, and I'll put that in the next run. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I'm gonna take my big mixing jar. I mean, I've tasted all these. They smell fantastic, taste fantastic. I want to put these in my mixing jar. Smells so good. We'll make some good shine. Okay, so they're all mixed up. Let's see what we got. So we're right at about 140 right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll mix just a little bit of water in that. Missed. All right, let's try it again. That's about 108 or 9. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to put a lid on it. And what we'll do is we'll be ready to make our flavored moonshine. Alright, this is going to be some delicious shine. Like I said before, we're going to be making some flavored moonshine out of it. I'm really looking forward to that and sharing it with you guys. So the last thing I got to say is, well, let me back up. Hey, if you haven't got a chance, just hit that subscribe button down there. I'd really appreciate it. It's always a big help. So the last thing I got to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everyone.